All right, get this, you know how we hear. Turns out it's way more complex than we thought. We're diving into some groundbreaking research from Yale that's basically rewriting the textbooks on how our ears work.
It really is fascinating stuff.
So we're working with this cutting-edge research published in the journal PRX Life.
Right.
And you're telling me it has the potential to change how we think about hearing. I'm all ears, so to speak.
Yeah.
Give me the rundown.
Well, for years, we've known that sound travels as waves in the cochlea, activating tiny hair cells along the basilar membrane.
Right.
These hair cells are incredibly sensitive, converting those vibrations into electrical signals that your brain interprets as sound. But the sheer range of sounds your ear can pick up from a whisper to a jet engine is mind-boggling.
Yeah?
That's a trillion-fold difference in intensity.
That's insane. I never really thought about the extremes our ears handle every day.
Yeah.
But how do those tiny hair cells manage to process such a massive range without getting overloaded?
That's where the concept of modes comes in. Think of it like plucking a guitar string. You get the main vibration, the fundamental frequency, but you also get these subtler vibrations, overtones, that add richness and complexity to the sound. The Yale researchers found that a similar thing is happening in the cochlea.
So there are overtones to the way we hear. I'm trying to wrap my head around that. What exactly are these modes and what do they do?
They discovered a second set of these mechanical modes, what they call extended modes. In these modes, larger sections of the basilar membrane move together even when responding to a single tone. It's not just a localized vibration anymore. It's like a coordinated dance across the entire membrane.
A coordinated dance, huh? That's a cool way to visualize it.
Yeah.
But what's the significance of this synchronized movement? What does it actually do for our hearing?
That's what's so fascinating. These extended modes seem to act as a sort of control mechanism, influencing how individual hair cells respond and preventing them from getting overstimulated. It's like they're fine-tuning the amplification process, ensuring that your ears respond accurately to real sounds and don't get thrown off by their own sensitivity.
Okay, so they're like a safety net, making sure our ears don't go haywire from all the input.
Right.
That's pretty incredible. But I'm still a bit fuzzy on how these extended modes actually work. Can you break it down a little further for me?
Think of it like this. Each hair cell is like a tiny amplifier, boosting the vibrations it receives. But too much amplification could lead to instability, like a microphone getting too close to a speaker and creating that awful feedback screech.
Ouch. Yeah, I definitely get that analogy.
These extended modes help to prevent that feedback loop by coordinating the activity of hair cells across a wider area. They act as a sort of constraint, influencing how much energy each hair cell pumps into the system.
So it's like they're ensuring a smooth, balanced response, even when bombarded with a cacophony of sounds.
Exactly. And what's even more interesting is that this delicate balancing act might be particularly important for how we hear low-frequency sounds.
Now, that's intriguing. What's the connection between these extended modes and those rumbling bass lines I love so much?
Well, low-frequency sounds, by their nature, create these broader waves on the basilar membrane.
Okay.
It's harder for the ear to pinpoint their exact location compared to higher frequencies.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So how do these extended modes factor in? Do they act like a sort of GPS for those low-frequency sounds?
That's one of the hypotheses researchers are exploring. It's possible that these extended modes, by coordinating the activity of hair cells across a wider area, are providing additional information to the brain, helping to refine our perception of those lower frequencies.
So they're like a backup system, a way to compensate for the inherent challenges of processing those deep rumbling sounds.
Exactly. It's like our ears have this hidden mechanism that kicks in when we're trying to make sense of those more elusive, low-frequency components of sound.
I'm starting to see why this research is such a big deal. We're not just talking about a minor tweak to our understanding of hearing. It's like they've discovered a whole new dimension to this incredibly complex system.
And the implications of this discovery go far beyond just understanding how we hear. It has the potential to transform how we approach hearing loss and even enhance hearing beyond its natural limits.
Okay, now you've really piqued my curiosity.
Yeah.
But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's take a step back and talk about how the researchers actually made this groundbreaking discovery. What tools did they use to unveil these hidden modes?
It wasn't some fancy new microscope or imaging technique. It was something even more powerful: mathematical modeling.
Math?
Yeah.
Seriously? I thought we were talking about biology here.
Math is an incredibly valuable tool for understanding complex systems, including biological ones. By creating a mathematical model of the cochlea, These researchers could simulate how sound waves travel through it and interact with those hair cells.
So it's like they built a virtual ear inside a computer.
Precisely. And by tweaking different parameters in the model, they could explore how the system responded under different conditions. That's how they stumbled upon these extended modes that had gone unnoticed for so long.
Wow, that's amazing. It just goes to show the power of interdisciplinary research, bringing physics and biology together to unlock the secrets of our senses.
Absolutely.
And who knows what other secrets are still waiting to be discovered.
Exactly.
This research is just the tip of the iceberg. Yeah. And it's opening up a whole new world of possibilities for how we understand and interact with sound.
That's right.
This is all incredibly fascinating, but I know our listeners are probably wondering what it all means for them.
Yeah.
Why should they care about these hidden modes?
Well, that's where things get really exciting.
Okay, so we've established that these extended modes are pretty darn important. But how does this all translate into real-world applications? What's the potential impact on things like hearing loss and hearing aids?
This is where the research gets really intriguing. Think about it. Current hearing aids mostly just amplify all sounds, which can be overwhelming and distort the listening experience.
Yeah, I've heard that complaint before. It's like turning up the volume on everything, including the background noise. Not exactly ideal.
Exactly. But if we could design hearing aids that specifically target and enhance these extended modes, we might be able to create a more natural and nuanced sound amplification.
So instead of just cranking up the volume, it's more like fine-tuning the way sound is processed.
Precisely. Imagine a hearing aid that works more in harmony with the ear's natural mechanics, selectively amplifying certain frequencies while respecting those inherent constraints imposed by the extended modes.
That would be a game changer for people with hearing loss. No more feeling like you're trapped in the cacophony of amplified noise.
And it doesn't stop there. This research could also pave the way for developing entirely new types of hearing devices.
Oh, now you've got me really curious. What kind of devices are we talking about? Some kind of futuristic sonic implant?
Well, it might not be that far off from science fiction. Imagine a device that could bypass damaged hair cells altogether and directly stimulate the auditory nerve.
Wow, that sounds almost too good to be true. Are you saying we could potentially restore hearing even when those crucial hair cells are no longer functioning?
It's a very real possibility. And by incorporating our understanding of these extended modes, we could potentially create a much richer and more natural sound perception than what's currently possible with cochlear implants.
That's incredible. To think we might be able to replicate the complexity of those synchronized vibrations, even in the absence of healthy hair cells, it really highlights the potential of this research to revolutionize the field of hearing restoration.
Absolutely. And this new understanding of the cochlea's intricate mechanics opens up a whole new frontier in auditory science.
You know, I'm also curious about the implications for people without hearing loss. Could this research lead to enhancements that boost hearing beyond its natural limits?
Now, that's a fascinating question. If we can mathematically model these extended modes, could we, in theory, manipulate them to expand the range of frequencies we can hear? Or perhaps even create entirely new auditory experiences?
It's like we're talking about pushing the boundaries of human perception, tapping into a realm of sound that's currently beyond our grasp.
Exactly. And it raises all sorts of philosophical questions about what it means to hear and how our perception of the world is shaped by the limitations of our senses.
This conversation is really making me appreciate the profound connection between our physical senses and our conscious experience. It's like we're peeling back the layers of reality and discovering these hidden dimensions within ourselves.
And to think it all started with those tiny synchronized vibrations happening deep inside our ears.
I know we still have a lot to cover, but before we move on, I want to touch on something that struck me earlier. You mentioned that mathematical modeling played a crucial role in this discovery.
Yes, it was absolutely key. It allowed the researchers to visualize and analyze those complex interactions happening within the cochlea, revealing patterns that would have been nearly impossible to detect through observation alone.
It makes you wonder, what other hidden complexities might we be overlooking in other biological systems? What if we could apply this kind of mathematical modeling to unravel the mysteries of the brain or the immune system?
It's an exciting thought, isn't it? And it speaks to the power of interdisciplinary research, bringing together fields like physics, biology, and computer science to unlock the secrets of life itself.
I have a feeling we're just scratching the surface of what's possible. But for now, let's bring it back to this groundbreaking research on hearing. We've talked about the science and the potential, but I'm also curious about the ethical implications.
That's an important point to consider. As with any powerful technology, there are always ethical considerations.
For example, if we can enhance hearing beyond its natural limits, who gets access to that technology? And how do we ensure it's used responsibly and doesn't create new forms of inequality or discrimination?
Those are crucial questions and ones that we need to be having open and honest conversations about as these technologies continue to develop.
It's a reminder that scientific progress always needs to be accompanied by ethical reflection and thoughtful dialogue.
Absolutely. We need to ensure that these advancements benefit humanity as a whole rather than exacerbating existing disparities or creating new ones.
Well said. And I think that brings us to the heart of what makes this research so compelling. It's not just about the science, it's about the human impact.
Exactly. It's about understanding ourselves better, pushing the boundaries of what's possible, and ensuring that these discoveries lead to a more just and equitable future for everyone.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here, from the intricate mechanics of the cochlea to the ethical implications of enhancing human hearing. But I have a feeling there's still more to unpack.
You're right. There are always more questions to ask, more avenues to explore, and that's what makes this field so endlessly fascinating.
Well, with that in mind, let's dive into some of the lingering questions and explore the future directions of this research. What mysteries remain to be solved and what possibilities lie ahead?
Well, one of the biggest remaining mysteries is how exactly these extended modes contribute to our perception of low-frequency sounds.
Yeah, we've touched on that, but I'm eager to hear more about the specific hypotheses researchers are investigating.
Well, one intriguing hypothesis is that these extended modes might help the brain to distinguish between sounds coming from different directions, even when those sounds are at low frequencies.
That's fascinating. So it's not just about amplifying low-frequency sounds. It's about providing the brain with the spatial information it needs to create a more accurate and nuanced auditory map of the world.
Exactly. It's like these extended modes are adding another layer of resolution to our low-frequency hearing, allowing us to pinpoint the source of those deep rumbles with greater precision.
That makes me think about the evolutionary advantages of such a system. Being able to accurately locate the source of a low-frequency sound, like the rumble of an approaching predator or the distant thunder of a storm, could have been crucial for survival.
Absolutely. And it highlights how our hearing has evolved to be incredibly sensitive and finely tuned to the specific challenges of our environment.
I'm also curious about the implications for music perception. Could these extended modes play a role in how we experience the emotional impact of music, especially music that's rich in low-frequency sounds?
That's a fascinating question and one that researchers are starting to explore. There's some evidence to suggest that our emotional responses to music are linked to the way our bodies physically respond to sound vibrations, especially those low-frequency vibrations that we can feel as much as hear.
So it's not just about the notes themselves, but also about the way those notes resonate within our bodies, activating those extended modes and creating a more visceral and emotional experience.
Exactly. It's like our entire being is participating in the music, not just our ears.
I love that idea. It makes music feel even more powerful and profound. But I'm also curious about the potential downsides of enhancing our hearing beyond its natural limits.
That's a valid concern. While there's immense potential for improving lives, we need to proceed cautiously and consider the possible unintended consequences.
For example, could amplifying certain frequencies lead to sensory overload or even damage to our hearing in the long run?
That's a possibility that needs to be carefully researched and considered. We need to make sure that any attempts to enhance hearing are done in a way that prioritizes safety and well-being.
Absolutely. And we need to remember that our hearing is intricately connected to our overall health and well-being.
Okay.
It's not just about perceiving sounds. It's about our ability to communicate, to connect with the world around us, and to experience life to the fullest.
Well said. And it's a reminder that we need to approach these technological advancements with humility and respect for the complexity of the human body and mind.
I think this conversation has really highlighted the importance of taking a holistic view of hearing. It's not just about mechanics and technology. It's about our lived experience, our emotions, and our connection to the world around us.
Exactly. And it's through this holistic lens that we can truly appreciate the wonder and complexity of this incredible sense that we often take for granted.
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling a renewed sense of awe and appreciation for my own hearing. It's amazing to think about all the intricate processes happening inside my ears right now, allowing me to experience this conversation, the sounds of the city outside, and the music playing softly in the background.
It really is remarkable, and it's a testament to the power of scientific inquiry to illuminate the hidden wonders of our world and ourselves.
I think this deep dive has really lived up to its name. We've explored not just the mechanics of hearing, but also the philosophical and ethical dimensions of this incredible sense.
And we've only just begun to scratch the surface. There's so much more to learn, to discover, and to ponder.
Well, with that in mind, let's shift gears and explore what the future holds for this groundbreaking research. Where do we go from here? What are the next steps for scientists, engineers, and clinicians working in this field?
Well, one of the most promising avenues of research is focused on translating these discoveries into real-world applications for people with hearing loss.
Okay, let's talk about that. What kind of specific advancements are on the horizon for hearing aids and other assistive devices?
Researchers are working on developing hearing aids that can selectively amplify sounds based on their spatial location, helping to improve speech comprehension in noisy environments.
That would be huge. One of the biggest complaints I hear from people with hearing loss is the difficulty of following conversations in crowded restaurants or other places with a lot of background noise.
Exactly. And by incorporating our understanding of how the brain uses spatial cues to process sound, we can design hearing aids that are much more effective at filtering out unwanted noise and amplifying the sounds that matter most.
That sounds like a real game changer. What other advancements are in the pipeline?
Another exciting area of research is focused on developing hearing aids that can personalize sound amplification based on the individual's unique hearing profile.
So it's like creating a custom-tailored soundscape for each person, taking into account their specific needs and preferences.
Exactly. And by using advanced algorithms and machine learning, these hearing aids can continuously adapt and adjust to the changing acoustic environment, providing a more seamless and natural listening experience.
That's incredible. It's like having a personal sound engineer working tirelessly in the background to optimize your hearing experience.
And the possibilities don't stop there. Researchers are also exploring the use of gene therapy and other regenerative medicine approaches to repair damaged hair cells and potentially even restore hearing completely.
Now that's truly mind-blowing. We're talking about not just treating hearing loss, but potentially reversing it altogether.
It's a bold goal, but one that's within the realm of possibility thanks to the rapid advancements happening in the field of regenerative medicine.
It's amazing to think that we might one day be able to regenerate those delicate hair cells and restore the symphony of sound to those who have lost it.
It's a testament to the ingenuity and perseverance of scientists and clinicians working tirelessly to improve human health and well-being.
Well, this conversation has certainly given me a lot to think about, and I'm sure our listeners are feeling the same way. But before we wrap up this deep dive, I want to circle back to something you said earlier about the ethical implications of enhancing human hearing.
It's an important topic to consider. As we develop these powerful technologies, we need to be mindful of the potential risks and unintended consequences.
For example, if we can enhance hearing beyond its natural limits, how do we ensure that this technology is accessible to everyone, not just those who can afford it?
That's a crucial question of equity and justice. We need to make sure that these advancements don't exacerbate existing health disparities or create new forms of inequality.
And how do we prevent the misuse of this technology for surveillance or other nefarious purposes?
That's another important ethical consideration. We need to establish clear guidelines and regulations to ensure that these technologies are used responsibly and ethically.
It's clear that we need to be having these conversations now, before these technologies become widely available.
Absolutely. We need to approach these advancements with both excitement and caution, recognizing both the immense potential and the potential risks.
Well, I think this deep dive has really highlighted the importance of responsible innovation, of considering the ethical implications alongside the scientific breakthroughs.
It's a reminder that scientific progress is not just about pushing the boundaries of knowledge, but also about using that knowledge wisely and ethically for the betterment of humanity.
It's about ensuring that these discoveries lead to a future where everyone has the opportunity to experience the richness and beauty of the world through sound.
Well said. And it's a future that I'm excited to be a part of.
Me too. It's a future where we can harness the power of sound to heal, to connect, and to expand our understanding of ourselves and the universe around us.
And it's a future that's within our reach if we approach it with both wisdom and wonder.
It feels like we've journeyed to the inner workings of the ear and back out to the expanding universe of possibilities. It's a lot to process.
It is. But that's the beauty of a deep dive like this. We start with something familiar, how we hear, and end up contemplating the very nature of perception and the future of human experience.
You know, as we've been talking about all this incredible potential, I keep coming back to this one thought. If we can mathematically model the complexity of the ear, could we one day apply that same approach to other senses? Could we model the eye, the sense of touch, or even...
Consciousness itself.
Yeah,
Now, there's a truly profound question.
it's almost like science fiction, but the way we're making breakthroughs in understanding the brain and sensory perception, it doesn't feel so far-fetched anymore.
It's certainly a thought-provoking frontier. If we can model the intricate dance of vibrations in the cochlea that translates into your unique experience of sound, what's to say we couldn't one day model the complex neural networks that give rise to our thoughts, emotions, and our very sense of self?
That's a question that could keep us talking for hours, but I think we've given our listener plenty to ponder for today.
I agree.
So to recap this incredible journey into the hidden symphony of hearing, we've learned about these groundbreaking discoveries of extended modes in the cochlea, their role in fine-tuning our auditory perception, and their potential to revolutionize how we approach hearing loss and even enhance hearing beyond its natural limits.
We've explored the power of mathematical modeling to unravel the complexities of biological systems and discuss the ethical considerations that must guide us as we develop these powerful technologies.
But perhaps the most important takeaway is the reminder that even the most familiar parts of ourselves, like the way we hear, can still hold incredible mysteries and untapped potential.
It's a reminder to approach the world with a sense of curiosity and wonder, always seeking a deeper understanding of ourselves and the universe we inhabit.
Well said. And to our listener, we hope this deep dive has inspired you to listen more closely to the symphony of sound that surrounds you and to ponder the incredible complexity of the human experience.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.